did you realize your child's trauma wasn't over? For 4 years, everyone thought my daughter's selective mutism was a phase, until my husband announced his best friend was coming to stay. My daughter, Sadie, abruptly stopped talking when she was 6. No warning, no explanation. She woke up one morning and simply refused to speak. The doctors called it trauma-induced selective mutism, but nobody could figure out what the trauma was. Our family was entirely stable. My husband, Mark, and I didn't fight or yell. Sadie had friends, good grades, and used to narrate elaborate bedtime stories to her stuffed animals every night. We took her to multiple specialists, and they all said the same thing. Something triggered this. Find the trigger. But we couldn't find it. The only significant change around that time was my husband's best friend, Bernard, moving to California. Bernard had been part of our family since before Sadie was born. He practically lived at our house, read her stories, and taught her how to ride a bike. Everyone loved Bernard. When he moved, Sadie went silent. We assumed she was grieving, processing loss, the only way a 6-year-old knew how. So, we gave her time. 1 month became 6. 6 became a year. She communicated entirely through written notes and nodding. We adapted. It became our new normal. For 4 long years, my daughter didn't speak a single word. Then, Mark happily announced that Bernard was coming to stay with us for Christmas, his first time back in 4 years. That night, at 2 a.m., Sadie walked into my bedroom. She stood silently by my bed until I woke up. And then, she spoke. "Don't let him come back." 3 words. Her voice sounded like sandpaper, cracking and raw, from 4 years of disuse. I sat up so fast, I almost knocked her over. "Sadie, you're talking?" She was shaking. Not the cold kind of shaking, but the terrified kind. "Please, don't let him come back." "Who?" I whispered. "Bernard?" She flinched violently at his name, like I had physically slapped her. My whole body went ice cold. That's when I knew. The next morning, I tried to convince Mark to cancel the visit. I didn't tell him what Sadie said yet. I needed to be absolutely sure before blowing up our family. I just said I had a terrible feeling, and Sadie seemed upset. Mark laughed it off. "You've always been overprotective. She probably doesn't even remember him. She's 10. Everything is dramatic at 10. When I pushed back, his face hardened. "Bernard is family. He's been looking forward to this for months. I'm not canceling because of a hunch." That night, Sadie slid a folded piece of paper under my door. She was back to not talking, but the note said everything I needed to know. He told me no one would believe me. He was right. I sat on the bathroom tiles and held that note until my hands went numb. The next morning, I took Sadie to her therapist alone. I showed her the note. The therapist read it and slowly closed her eyes. "She spoke for the first time in 4 years last night," I whispered. "She told me not to let him come back." The therapist looked at me, her expression dead serious. "If this is what it appears to be, your daughter has been carrying this alone for 4 years." She stopped talking because it was the only way she knew how to protect herself. I went home and confronted Mark. The guest room was already made up. "Cancel the visit," I demanded. "Something happened to Sadie, and Bernard is the reason." He stared at me, his face turning red. "That is a dangerous, psychotic accusation to make against my best friend." He refused to cancel. Bernard arrived 3 days before Christmas. He walked through our front door, carrying presents and flashing that big, charming smile everyone loved. Mark hugged him like a long-lost brother. I stood rigidly by the stairs. Sadie was locked in her room, and she hadn't come out since the announcement. "Where's my favorite girl?" Bernard asked, looking around. I didn't smile back. I just looked at him and said, "She's not here."